What's going on, my fellow YouTubers? So I'm here to make this one about the 570 exhaust mod. That's what this video is about. I mean, this thing looks like complete shit and death, but it did what it was supposed to do. It let me know that I wasn't a big fan of it. Granted, I took the HMF and all the other exhausts. I've had was it GSE or GES, whatever it is. It was pretty loud, but it had fixed baffles, no stuffing or nothing like that. The HMF sounded really good. Never had a problem with that one on the running side. Never ran a tuner on it, but I'd recommend running a tuner, especially if you're snorkeling. But this is the exhaust mount. I got a muffler from a buddy of mine and we did it. I ended up putting a 2.5 inch hole up in there. It's a pretty big ass hole. Still had plenty of back pressure for the water riding we do. Foiler didn't run funny. It had, because these foilers run a little rich anyways from the factory, as we all know, and you smell them every now and then. My biggest complaint is at high RPMs, it sounds like a pissed off bumblebee. And I mean, I know it's a single cylinder 570, yes, we all know this, but at idle it sounds great. I mean, it's really deep, it's a pretty good hit, especially drill a big hole in the end of it. But if you do a lot of riding like we do a lot of random riding, just one day we'll take off, who knows where we're gonna ride. And sometimes we do a lot of long distance running around here, and you sit up at 5 grand running 40-45 mile an hour down the road, that son of a bitch gets on your nerves, to be honest with you. It drove me bonkers. But some people like a loud foil. I still use this one for a lot of hunting and a lot of everyday use, so it kind of drove me up the wall. But if you want a cheaper way to make your foil louder, I mean, it does sound really good at low RPMs. It does sound, it's got a pretty good growl to it, but I just wasn't for me. Idle's fine underwater. I submerged the whole rear rack on it in the middle of the river and let off the gas, just see how it idle out, and it idled fine. Hell, it may idle a little better than it does with the factory exhaust. As you can tell, there, I got the factory back on. But I ain't gonna say it's a bad mod by any means. I mean, a lot of people love it. I mean, I got friends of mine that's got it and they love it. It just wasn't for me. All of them sound different depending on what size hole you drill in the back of it, for what kind of different sound you get. The smaller the hole, the higher the pitch. We drilled an inch hole, inch and a quarter, maybe inch and a half to begin with, and this thing was loud, just freaking ear popping loud when you took off. 2.5 didn't help much on the high end. It was still loud as hell. I lost a little bit of my top end though. I did notice that it did take away from my top end speed sometimes. But I mean, you get big tires, you really don't need to be going fast. And hell, I don't even got brakes. I had to do the brake mod, so my foil crank. Damn Polaris brakes. But so this, you really can't see in there that good. But it's still got all the baffling pretty much. It's just got a gaping ass hole in the back of it. In here now, you can tell that's a big old hole I drilled. It goes along with the top of the tip. Pretty good size hole. But for a cheap aftermarket exhaust, I guess you can say, it's loud, it's noisy, it gets everybody's attention. If you can get your hands on somebody else, buy one offline or something, try it out, make sure you like it before you do it to yours. I wouldn't do it to my own exhaust. I hope y'all like this. Appreciate it.